Russian gas exports to Europe through Ukraine came to a halt on New Year's Day. Here to discuss this is Ray Trevino. He's the vice president of operations at Pecos Country Operating. This is an oil and gas exploration and production company. Good to have you here today, Ray. So first of all, how is the end of the deal is expected to affect gas supply and stability in Europe and the U.S.?
Well, that's a good question, and thanks for having me back on, Don. We're going to see definitely a big difference. It may only be considered 5%. However, that is a very big number. What we saw was 5% of all of the European Union's natural gas coming through Ukraine into the European nations, and this was through Russia. Now, the side back note to this is even though Russia and Ukraine have been at war for almost 3 years now, Russia was still providing Ukraine with natural gas. So, this is something they have been preparing for. And the European Union is definitely stepping it up. Also, here in America, we had President Trump call out the European Union here recently to say, hey, you need to buy more natural gas from us and other countries so that something like this doesn't affect them in the future.
And which industries will be most impacted in Europe? Can you give us an idea of that?
Well, right now I know that they're already trying to limit the heating down, meaning they're recommending individuals go into a family go into one room, put blankets on the windows to keep themselves more warm. Also, Germany right now is having a tough time. They've really gone to the way of renewables with wind and solar. And because of, again, how cold it is this year, they're trying to get with Russia to get more natural gas and hopefully open up the last remaining Nord Stream pipeline to get natural gas back into Europe.
So as for Russia, what does this mean? What does the end of the deal mean for the country?
For Russia, what this does, it does hurt their bottom line. They're going to lose over $5 billion, that's with a B, $billion in revenue by cutting off the supply of natural gas to Ukraine. So that is a victory for Ukraine and, of course, the rest of the world to hopefully slow down their military stuff that they're doing in Ukraine. I'm not a military person, as you can tell. But so that is a victory for Ukraine and the European Union. So we will hurt their bottom line. But again, they'll probably find some other way to get that natural gas to other places, even though the United States has strict sanctions on Russia at this time.
So you gave us some numbers there. Do you think there will be a material impact on Russia's economy?
On that one, Russia has been preparing for this as well. And again, they have been selling so much natural gas and oil at a discounted price that they really do have, unfortunately, a few $1 billion in the coffer that they do continue to have. So they've been preparing as well. So we'll see what happens there.
What about global gas prices and any effect there?
On the global stream, it will have some effect. As we all know, here in America, we've had some horrific terrorist attacks, so we will see the price of oil change. And again, Russia's had sanctions on themselves due to their invasion of Ukraine against the rest of the world. And so that oil and natural gas won't be going out as much. So we will see some new places that are going to be purchasing that oil and natural gas.
So Europe has engaged in some form of diversification. Will those efforts be able to mitigate the impact to an extent?
I hope so. And by that, I mean Europe needs to, one, come to the table with America and work with us more. As President Trump is definitely pro-America, we're going to get that natural gas because we are the Saudi Arabia of natural gas here in America. And we can provide that inexpensive, reliable, and abundant fuel source to Europe as a whole, and so can other parts of the world that are more free and more, pro-economy and pro-capitalism rather than Russia and places also like Venezuela. So as long as the European Union can continue to do that and buy from us and other, pro-capitalism countries, I think we'll be okay.
So you're talking about alternative supply routes for energy here. Are there any challenges? Will that be enough? Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, right now the challenges are obviously the pipelines. As we know, we've had disturbances with the Nord Stream pipeline and then, of course, the Keystone pipeline here in America. But really also this current administration under President Biden has really put one hand behind our back in America as providing the world with the energy that's necessary for affordable and reliable and abundance. And so hopefully President Trump and his team will work with OPEC and the European Union to allow America to provide the world with all this additional energy that's needed.
So, I mean, is Russia also looking at alternatives, other countries, regions maybe to export?
Well, as we know, Russia does provide to countries like Venezuela, and also they are providing to India. Even though we don't like them doing that, they are providing to India and other countries. And so they will continue to provide that oil and natural gas to the countries that they have, and probably even do a little bit more.
All right. Thank you very much for today. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you.